Welcome back for a brand new week of live talk. I'm An Jung-hyun for Heart to Heart. Today is the fourth day of the 2002 FIFA World Cup. The Global Soccer Festival will no doubt be a great chance to show Korea to the world. But my guest today has been trying to do just that for many years already. Please say hello to Dr. Byoug Won, Professor of Ethnomusicology at University of Hawaii. Thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful program, and I wish I can give some inspiration to some audience, the spectators in the country.
Thank you. Now, I understand you're based in Hawaii. What brings you to Korea this time around?
I have a number of conferences to attend and present the papers. And my main purpose of the visit this time is to complete the book-length manuscript on Korean music culture, and it's called Musical Cultures of Korea and Korean Peoples.
I see. So you're here mostly for research.
Right.
Now, for those viewers who may be unfamiliar with the term ethnomusicology, what exactly do you study in that subject?
I think we are familiar with the musicology, and that field is the study of Western music history mostly, and it involves with the library research mostly, digging through the manuscript and the written documents like that. But in ethnomusicology, it's a study of culture through music, music other than Western classical music. So it includes popular music, traditional music, and any other musics that are not dealt by the Western musicologist. So the important aspect of ethnomusicology is to engage in fieldwork, to collect materials of the live performances, and analyze it and try to understand and assign some kind of a meaning or interpretation to the music. That's the ethnomusicology.
So it's, as the term suggests, it's a study of ethnic music. Is
Right,
that right?
the traditional music mostly. Yeah. But we also deal with the popular music.
But it's not really a study of how to play an instrument or how to sing ethnic music, but mostly music history, or
mostly theoretical aspect of music, not the performance. We encourage the students, if they are interested in performance, then we encourage them to stay in the country of the music and learn from the country.
Now, you've been spending years trying to spread Korean music around the world, and as part of your efforts, I understand you organized a workshop last year. Tell us a little bit about that.
So far, the Korean government has tried many times to send a large group of performing troops of the Korean music and dance to many different countries, and it costs a lot of money. But it also contributes a great deal to the understanding of Korean culture. But the performance is mostly passing event. Once you attend the concert, and after a few days you forget about
Temporary.
it. And also, most of the audience are not equipped with the understanding Korean traditional music well. So I guess my mission is to provide the Western scholarship some depth or serious the level of understanding of Korean musical culture. So hopefully they will teach that to their students.
Well, we happen to have file footage of the workshop organized by Dr. Lee last year. Let's take a look at it together. So you've invited ethnomusicologists from around the world.
Right.
To exhibit.
This was the kind of a first attempt done last year with the help from the Korea Foundation and the National Center for Korean Traditional Performing Arts. We invited about 17 musicologists, mostly from Western countries, but also Japan and Hong Kong, China. The main purpose was to provide opportunity so they can teach some introductory level of Korean music when they go back to their countries. So in the morning, they had to attend a 3-hour lecture every day from
On theory?
Monday, theory, history, aesthetic, everything, from 9 to 12 o'clock. Then in the afternoon, they will spend 2-3 hours in learning practical lessons, like instruments,
Like we're seeing right now.
right, dance or singing, just a glimpse of everything, almost everything. Then in the evening, fortunately in June last year, there were plenty of concerts going on in Seoul areas. So they were attending concerts, various kind of concerts every night. Then over the weekend, we took them to the field trips to Buddhist rituals, shaman rituals, and Gangneung festivals like that. So in addition to that, I have compiled reading materials so they can use it as a reference or textbook, and 5 CDs, including all kinds of variety of Korean traditional musics and videotapes. So we provide those materials so they can, when they go back to their countries, they can, hopefully they will use that material to teach Korean music there.
So they not only got first-hand experience at Korean culture and music especially, they had lessons, practical lessons.
Right. It doesn't matter how long you explain about the theoretical aspect of Korean music, unless they don't have experience of the hand-on experience, it will be very difficult to understand. So that's, I thought it's very important to provide the theory and the practical learning together, side by side.
I guess it's one thing listening to Korean music and liking it, and it's another thing learning the basics, learning the theory, and then appreciating it. That would be a totally different experience, wouldn't
That's
it?
true. Fortunately, well, if you are not musicologist or music faculty, if you are just an amateur connoisseur of Korean music, you don't have any obligation to learn, or you just listen and forget about it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. But music faculty, they have a certain degree of a mission and a responsibility to introduce or to convey the real spirit of other countries' traditional music. So since they had extensive music background, they were very quick to learn, to observe the theoretical or historical aspect, as well as learning much faster than average Koreans.
I see.
It was very impressive.
So would you rate the workshop as being very successful?
I think it was very successful. And as soon as they went back to their countries from the following semester, they start teaching Korean music.
Really?
And they sent me their report about the students' reactions. And I also talked with the officials at the Korea Foundation and the Ministry of Culture and Tourism about the result of last year's workshop. And they were very pleased to learn this positive result. So they are thinking about offering it again next year. I hope they will do.
Well, I was just going to ask you that. I was going to ask you if you were in touch with any of the participants there and if they were teaching Korean music, and by the sounds of it, they are.
Yes, I'm in communicating with all of them and about what they are doing with the materials they learn from Korea. And it has a very positive report.
Have any of them become very deeply interested in Korean music since the workshop?
Of course,
personally, yes.
For example, one faculty at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, he said when he taught Asian music, he mostly covered Chinese and Japanese music. Maybe Korean music less than 10%. But since last year, he is assigning more than 30% of his lecture hours to Korean music. So that's just one example.
Out of personal interest as well.
Right. Yes.
So will you be planning more events like this in the future?
I hope the Korea Foundation will do that next year again.
I'm interested to find out whether there are many foreign students of Korean music or Korean musicology.
The proportion of the ethnomusicology majors in the state, especially in the state or Western Europe, are not that great compared to the musicology. But according to that proportion, the ratio, the number of people specializing in Korean music or interested in Korean music is not too bad. The number is probably there are about 4 or 5 the music faculty in Western Europe or in the States who specialize Korean music.
I see.
And there are approximately more than 20 doctoral students dealing with the Korean music subject for their dissertation.
And so, of all the years that you spent teaching, did you notice there is growth in the number of students taking interest in Korean music?
Of course, yes. Whenever I attend the professional conferences and meetings, I see the increase of numbers of Korean music panels or participants every year. Yes.
Well, what do you think fascinates, what about Korean music fascinates these foreign students, do you think?
According to my experience of teaching Korean music for more than 30 years in America, my first impression was that the Westerners, especially Westerners, they feel a little difficult to tackle with Korean music at the first stage compared to other traditional musics like the Indonesian music. Mostly the Indonesian ensemble consists of a percussion instrument. So as long as you bang the instrument, you make a sound. But most of the Korean instruments are not like that. You have to put some effort to blow, to make sound with the flute, or to pluck the string with the right technique. That makes a little extra difficulty. But once you master that the basic skill, then they feel it's much easier to excel their skill, and they begin to appreciate more.
Of all the students that have gone through you or gone past you, is there anybody that you remember more than others?
Yes, there are number of, the ethnomusicology has only history of 50 years in the States. And I started teaching in 1974 at the University of Hawaii. And since then, there are about approximately 10 students who graduated with master's degree or doctoral degree, specializing in Korean music. And a number of them are teaching or playing a leading role in the research of Korean music in the West. So I feel great sense of content and reward.
So is that the achievement that you feel most proud of?
Yes.
Now, do you actually teach them how to play an instrument as well? I mean, I know you concentrate mostly on the history of music and the theoretical aspects, but do you actually offer practical lessons during class?
I'm not a competent performer, so I like to play a number of instruments, not only Korean instruments, African, South American, Indonesian, Chinese, Japanese, all kinds of instruments, but I'm not good with any particular instrument. But my favorite instrument is Korean transverse flute called daegum. That's the instrument which gave me some inspiration to study music, and I still love to play that instrument. So I, once in a while, I try to make sound with that instrument.
So you started out as a daegum player, and now you are a professor of ethnomusicology at University of Hawaii. What sort of procedures or processes did life take you through to get to that point?
As a performer, I'm not very talented, and I have to confess. But I like that particular instrument called daegum, the transverse bamboo flute. When I was in the middle school in Korea, I heard that sound of that instrument from a movie called Song Chunhyang. It's a story of a Chunhyang.
Right.
And I didn't know the name of the instrument, but that instrument sound was so attractive and very mysterious. Then later I found out that instrument was a taegum. So I decided to learn that. So I took private lessons and I began to like it. Then later on I learned that the Seoul National University was going to offer a degree in Korean traditional music since 1959. So I decided that well, maybe this is the path I have to go through. And then soon I also learned that there was a discipline called Ethnomusicology in Western Europe and in America. So I thought maybe that's the field I should study and to become a player, pioneer's role. But I don't know whether I have achieved it or not.
We actually saw some pictures of your taegum playing days. Were you part of a performance group back then?
Well, in the college, I had to perform with the ensembles, and at the early stage of my work in the state, once in a while, like television stations, or when there was some special concert of the ethnic music, they asked me to perform. So reluctantly, I had to perform a couple of times, but I'm not very proud of that. But I enjoyed the performance.
So before you heard the sound of taegum back in your middle school years, before that you weren't interested in music at all then? Did you ever think?
I was interested in Korean traditional music, and my father was a great singer of a Korean folk song. So whenever he gets drunk, he sings a few hours. That was my first inspiration of the Korean music.
Now, back then, when you went abroad to study in the 1960s, ethnic music or ethnomusicology was not a very well-known subject, I'm sure, and especially Korean music at the time. Did you have any difficulty studying it?
That's true. I think this, when I was middle school or the high school period, when I decided to study ethnomusicology after studying Korean traditional music in Korea, not many people thought about it. I guess even my teacher didn't know what I was thinking.
Right.
And although they knew, a couple of them knew what the ethnomusicology was. Then, but I thought it was a very fascinating field, and it was a very new field. So I decided to pursue that course of the discipline. And fortunately, I was offered a number of scholarships from several different schools in the States when I applied for the study abroad. And because I studied Korean music, I was fortunate to have scholarships for 6 years. So, for the students in humanities or art, it was very difficult to study abroad, unless you have rich parents who can finance your study. But in that sense, I was very fortunate, and I didn't have to worry about the financial backing.
Back then, though, did your parents ever give you a funny look? Why do you want to study Korean music all the way in Hawaii?
Yes, my parents were very typical Korean parents too. My father wished that I would become either businessman or politician.
Right.
And for a while, I had to hide what I was thinking until I entered the musicology. So my father was rather shocked and very disappointed. So until I became faculty at the University of Hawaii, he wasn't very happy with that.
But he was happy after you became a professor.
I think so.
Now, you've been teaching for almost 30 years now. Do you have any special principles or teaching philosophy that you stick to when you teach your students?
I sometimes advise the incoming new students, or I even used this statement for my son, who is graduating from college this year. Consider the world as one country with many different language dialects and many different cultural dialects and many different colors. But this is the one country. So when we face the traditional music, we have to consider from the same equal level, not with any feeling of superiority or inferiority, because the music is simple or complicated.
I see.
So we have to try to understand others' culture from their own tone, not from my standard.
That's interesting how you view the world as one big global village, so to say, right? And with different dialects or different cultural dialects, as you say.
Even in the music, if you start dividing this as a very different cultural entity, then you create a lot of conflict and some troubles.
What is your son studying? Is your son studying music as well?
Art.
Oh, he's studying.
He wants to become graphic designer.
Oh, so he's in the fine arts.
Yes.
I see. Well, did you have any difficulty while you're either studying Korean musicology or teaching Korean musicology?
Difficulty? Of course, the language barriers are still difficult thing for me. I will never become like a native English speaker.
Oh, you sound fine.
Other than that, the one difficulty I have gone through is that I had to put more time than the American students or the European students in studying ethnomusicology, because this is a new field and we are not trained in that field in Korea. So we maybe for some subject matters, American students may spend average 3 hours, then I had to put 6 hours or 10 hours. That was very difficult.
Because I suppose Western music is more widely known around the world, and it's more easily accessible. What sort of is there a current work or project that you're involved in right now? You talked about that research you're doing. What is that about?
As I mentioned before, that Korean government spent a large sum of the budget to send large-scale performing groups abroad every year, many times. I think they have to do that as a kind of a diplomatic relationship between the countries. But on the other hand, to introduce the Korean musical cultures or spirit of Korean music to the more serious audience, I think we have to find some other avenues. And we have to draw some kind of a basic map how to tackle with the Korean traditional music for the foreigners. So I'm working on that basic drawing of the map of Korean music. So my preparation of the manuscript on the musical cultures of Korea and the Korean peoples may become introductory map for the English-speaking academic community. That is my hope, and that's what I'm doing now.
Would that kind of serve as a basis for teaching material?
As well as teaching materials, for the introductory level of Korean traditional music.
And what will that involve? The history and...
History, theory, aesthetics, styles, form, everything, yes.
What do you think is the biggest difference between Korean music and Western music? The biggest difference, theoretically.
That's a very big question, and many people, has that common questions. Again, it's a musical dialect.
Right.
Western music has its own dialect, and Korean music has its own dialect. I think I can just say that level only now. And I can get into the details, but I need more time for that.
I see. Now, during the remainder of your tenure, what sort of things do you want to work on? What are your future plans?
My immediate plan is to complete that ongoing
Research,
manuscript preparation. And after that, I hope I will prepare a book of the music cultures of the world for the Korean students in Korean.
I see.
Because most of the Korean students here, they have a very limited access to the music of the other countries.
I see.
So I hope the next stage will be preparing the material for them.
Well, good luck with not only your current research, but your future projects as well. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Thank you very much. I had a very good time.
Thank you. Well, after all, music is a universal language, and it can be a powerful medium in promoting Korean culture around the world. Well, that is all for today, but tomorrow I'm inviting Ms. Erin Evans to the program to talk about her interesting experiences in Korea. Join me to find out more. Thanks for watching. Take care.